Still on our sowing and growing fest. This week I'm heading back home to my greenhouse there to do even more seed sowing. We are still in that time to be harvesting lots of our produce in our outside growing spaces, and one of the big one is really our brassicas, things like our cabbages as well as our broccoli. We have our Brussels sprouts in the ground as well, but we're going to leave them and they can stay in the ground until February time, by which time they really need to be coming up. But we're thinking about the Christmas word. They are going to be brilliant to actually have on our Christmas dinner plates. However, despite the fact that I am harvesting lots of these brassicas, I'm also thinking about spring and sowing some more seeds. Now, it does depend on the variety as to what you are actually going to sow at this time of year, to be started off in an unheated greenhouse. Now, at the moment, I've actually got in the polytunnel, everything is looking absolutely amazing. I have got the seedlings, the flowers that I sowed last week in the unheated greenhouse at the allotment are already germinating and doing absolutely brilliantly. But these ones are going to be sown here in my unheated greenhouse in the back garden. Now, what I love about this greenhouse is because I'm right by a wall, although it's not completely shaded, so it is letting in lots of light, is because I've got so many plants in here, it's almost creating its own little generation of heat within this space. So I'm just going to focus on things like my Savoy cabbages, my roundhead cabbages, and also my spring heroes. Now, quite often the seed packets will say don't sow until March, but very similar to what our flowers are doing, I'm hoping for them to start growing, get to a stage where they're really nice, strong, sturdy seedlings, and by the time our weather really turns, they're just going to go dormant. And by doing this, it means that once we actually get to next year, they're going to be able to be planted out. And I have historically planted out my cabbage seedlings around sort of January, February time. They are incredibly hardy and they will withstand a lot of cold, including back in 2018, Beast from the East, absolutely no problem with my seedlings. Now, I have got them in a cell tray here, which I've already filled with compost. Just going to compact that down a little bit, and then in each of these quite small cells, it's sort of a 1 centimetre by 1 centimetre, I'm going to sow 2 seeds. So 2 seeds per cell, and basically the reason for that is if one of them fails to germinate, the other one should. So I'm sort of hedging my bets a little bit. However, if they do both germinate, that's just an added bonus, and it just means that I will have to split them up so that they can get some really good growth before they actually go outside. Now, I've got a number of different cabbages that I'm going to put into this seed tray. So one of my fall down things is always labeling, so I'm going to make sure that I do label these up. Now, despite the fact that this greenhouse does have its sort of own little microclimate, which is fabulous, I am going to put propagator lids on top of this, and that is just so that I get that really good germination rate and they're going to be safe and happy. Second thing is, I know I've got some snails and slugs hiding out in here somewhere, and I don't want them nibbling my beautiful, beautiful, tender seedlings as they go along. We are in October, so I am still pushing it a little bit, but because I want to get these growing, I need to do them now. So if you haven't already got your cabbages, it's definitely something that you need to be doing. And then we just need to keep an eye on them, and hopefully by the end of November, we should have some really nice seedlings which will go dormant, and then they'll be ready to plant out in the new year. It's pretty difficult to have a growing space without our brassicas, so if you haven't already got them on the grow, get them done as soon as possible and don't miss out on that window.